Hello students, today we are going to discuss a concept which is important and essential for understanding of pseudo forces, centrifugal forces, Coriolis force. We are going to discuss velocity, acceleration and the forces acting on a particle when it is being observed in rotating frames. Right. Suppose we have a coordinate system which is fixed. Suppose I have a coordinate system like this. I have a coordinate system which I denote by small x on right side, y on this side, and O as the origin of system. This is my coordinate system, and this coordinate system is fixed in the space. It is not moving. The origin of coordinate system is also fixed. It is not moving, as well as the y-axis will remain fixed in the free space. In the space, which means origin along with the coordinate axis, everything is stationary. I have one more coordinate system. I have one more coordinate system here, which is rotating now. So let's say I have a coordinate system like this. I denote this coordinate system by capital X, capital Y, and the origin of this coordinate system I denote by symbol capital A. Notice that this coordinate system X, Y, it is rotating. This axis rotates, Y axis is also rotating, and they are rotating about Z axis. So axis of rotation will be this line which is perpendicular to plane of this figure, plane of this white paper. That is the axis about which the coordinate axes AX and AY are rotating, right, with some angular velocity omega, and let's say with some angular acceleration alpha also. So I have now two coordinate systems, one which is fixed, one which is rotating. It is possible that the origin of rotating coordinate system, that is point A, is also moving. That is possible. Suppose we have a particle now. Suppose that we have a particle here. We have some particle P located in the space, and the position of particle when measured from the fixed coordinate system, the position of particle if measured from the fixed coordinate system will be like this. We denote it small r vector of P oblique O, which stands for position of particle relative to point O. The position of same particle can be represented relative to the point A also, and the position of point P relative to A will be written by R of P oblique A, which means position of particle P relative to point A. And I can introduce one more vector here. I can introduce one more vector here as OA vector, which is the position of origin A of rotating coordinate system with respect to the origin O of fixed coordinate system. Now, according to triangle law of vector sum, you can write down here, you can write down a relation between all the three vectors in this diagram, and you can write down as position of P relative to A or relative to O is the position of origin A of the rotating coordinate system with respect to the origin of fixed coordinate system plus the position of particle P relative to origin of rotating coordinate system. This you can write down by the triangle law of vectors through the triangle law. You can write this equation. Now we will differentiate this equation to find out the velocity. We know that the velocity is defined as derivative of position vector of particles. So if we differentiate, we will get derivative of this r vector equal to d of r a oblique o dt plus derivative of the second term d by dt of r p oblique a. Right. What is this dr p oblique o? Since r is position of r p oblique o is the position of particle p relative to o, so you can write down it is velocity of point p, particle p relative to point o, equals to capital A is the origin of rotating coordinate system and o is the fixed point. So you can write down this is velocity of origin A of a rotating coordinate system with respect to origin of the fixed coordinate system plus d by dt of this r p oblique a. Now our attention will be on this derivative. We need to understand what is the value of this derivative. To understand derivative of that vector, which is position vector of particle p relative to origin of rotating coordinate systems. To understand that, focus now. Let's say this vector rpa has components. It has components in this rotating frame as, if I resolve this rp oblique a vector in this coordinate system capital Ax, capital X and capital Y, right, and if this length is x component of the vector, so you can write down rp oblique a x component capital X, and you can write down this length as rp oblique a capital Y, which means the y component. So you can write down relative to coordinate system xay, relative to the coordinate system xay. What can we write here now? If I follow the coordinate system xay, I can write down position of p with respect to a will be, position of p with respect to a will be the component on this coordinate system on this axis. So this component will be rp oblique a capital X, which stands for the x component, and now I will multiply it, I will associate it with the unit vector in this direction. Let's say Ex cap is the unit vector along this direction. So you will write Ex cap here plus the y component of vector is now rp oblique a y component, and then it will be associated with the unit vector along this axis, which I denote by E capital Y cap, E capital Y cap. So I will associate this term with E capital Y cap. What is Ex cap and Ey cap now? What is Ex cap and Ey cap? We need to understand it. So Ex cap is the unit vector along this direction. It is unit vector along this direction, which you can represent in terms of unit vectors small I cap, which is along the fixed coordinate axis, and the unit vector small j cap, which is along the fixed y axis. So in terms of I cap and j cap, which are the unit vectors along the fixed coordinate axes, you can write down the unit vector in this direction. If this line is at theta angle, if you assume that this line is at theta angle with the x-axis, you can extend this line to the back side and you assume this line to be at theta angle relative to the fixed axis. Then Ex cap can be written as, then you can write down Ex cap as cosine theta small I cap plus sine theta small j cap. And you can write down the unit vector on capital Y axis as minus of sine theta I cap plus cos of theta j cap. You can write down these two unit vectors also. Now what is the derivative of this vector? What is the derivative of this vector drp oblique a relative to time? Derivative of this vector with respect to time. Well, this derivative will be this derivative d of rp oblique a x by time into Ex cap plus r of p oblique a x and derivative of Ex cap by the product rule or chain rule. So the derivative of first term will be, these two are the variables, these are two variables here. So derivative of the first variable and then Ex cap plus derivative of the first variable into Ex cap plus first variable and then derivative of second variable. This is called chain rule or product rule of derivatives. Plus the same rule will be applied for the second factor also. So you will have d by dt of rp oblique a y ey cap plus rp oblique a y and then derivative of ey cap. Now I will collect these two terms together. So I will write down d by dt of rp oblique a x and then Ex cap plus d by dt of rp oblique a y and then ey cap. I associate these two terms in one bracket and then other factors in other bracket. So here I will have rp oblique a x and the derivative of Ex cap plus rp oblique a y and then derivative of ey cap. So this way you can rearrange the factors. Now what is first bracket? What is the significance of this first bracket? Look at the terms. This factor is the x component of position and this is y component of position of particle. So here you have x component of a position and here you have y component of position, but these components are relative to coordinate axes a capital X and a capital Y, which is rotating. Follow this diagram. These components are considered on this axis. So any differentiation or any derivative of this value, if you differentiate rp oblique ax, then derivative of this value will give you the x component of velocity, relative to this coordinate system, and similarly the derivative of rp oblique ay will give you the y component of velocity relative to this coordinate system, which is capital Y axis, because these are the components relative to a capital X and a capital Y. And therefore this complete term, this first bracket is now velocity of particle P. This first term will be now the velocity of particle P oblique A, which is the velocity of particle P in the frame of A, or you can call it in frame of rotating system, or in frame of A, X, Y. And the second term, what is the second term now? Second term is Rp oblique A, and this derivative of Ex cap. What is derivative of Ex cap now? What is derivative of Ex cap? Well, if you differentiate the Ex cap, if I differentiate Ex cap here, then the derivative of Ex cap will be d by dt of Ex cap. This is capital X. So d by dt of Ex is the derivative of this factor. So if you differentiate cos theta, you will get minus of sin theta, right? And then you will get d theta by dt I cap. Then second term is sin theta, derivative of which will be cos theta d theta by dt, and then j cap. This is the derivative of Ex cap vector. What is d theta by dt? So d theta by dt, theta is this angle. So d theta by dt, notice this line is fixed. This is a fixed line, and this dotted line which connects to capital X, this line is rotating. So d theta by dt will define the angular velocity of this coordinate system, and angular velocity of this coordinate system by the right hand rule, if this is omega moving in this way, then by the right hand rule angular velocity omega of this coordinate system will be in the upward direction, which is z axis. So in vector form you can write down the omega of rotating system as, in vector form you can write down omega equals to its magnitude omega, and the unit vector will be k cap. Now this omega k cap, and this is my Ex vector, Ex cap. If I take cross product of these two, so if I find out omega cross Ex cap, then I will get, taking the cross product, take the cross product of these two vectors, so you will get omega into cos theta, and since we are taking cross product, we will have k cross I, which will be j cap, and then the second factor will be omega into sin theta, where we have a cross between k and j, and the cross between k and j becomes minus I cap. Now if you look at this expression, and here d theta by dt is omega, this d theta by dt is actually omega. So here you have omega sin theta minus I cap, omega sin theta minus I cap, and then you have omega cos theta j cap. Here also you have omega cos theta j cap. It means this derivative of Ex cap can be written as omega cross Ex cap. You can write down, and similarly you can prove it for the derivative of Ey cap. So now I will have R P oblique A capital X, and then this derivative d by dt of Ex cap will be replaced by omega cross Ex cap plus the second factor will be similarly written as Rp oblique A y and then omega cross Ey cap. Now we have velocity of P with respect to A in the frame of x, a, y coordinate system, plus I will bring omega vector out of this vector. So omega will be now outside by the associative law, and then it will have a cross, and if omega is outside you will have Rp oblique A Ex cap plus Rp oblique A Ey cap, which is actually the position of P relative to A. This is a very tough concept, right? So now I will use this working here. This is the value of derivative of Rp oblique A with respect to time. So now you replace this whole factor at this place. So you will get velocity of P relative to O equals to velocity of A relative to O plus velocity of the particle P relative to A in the frame of Axy, and plus you will have omega cross R of P with respect to A. This is the complete result. Before we move ahead, let us summarize the results. What is this factor velocity of A with respect to O? So it is the velocity of origin of rotating system, origin of rotating frame, and this is the absolute velocity, reason being it is measured from point O and O is a fixed point. So you can write down it is the absolute velocity of origin of rotating frame. What is Vp oblique A? So this is relative velocity, or you can write down velocity of particle P relative to origin of rotating system. And then this third factor, which is omega cross R P oblique A, is also addition. It is also the velocity of P. It is the velocity of P by rotation of coordinate systems. You can write down it is the velocity of P by rotation of axes, because when the axes are rotating, the unit vectors along those axes are changing. So the representation of vector is going to change, and therefore this factor will appear here. And now this velocity of P oblique O is actually absolute velocity of particle P, which is relative to a fixed point in the space. Right. So this is how you find out velocity, how you can establish a relation between the velocities of absolute velocity of the particle and the velocity of particle measured from a rotating frame. I repeat my working: the absolute velocity of particle in the fixed frame is equal to the velocity, absolute velocity of origin of rotating frame, plus the velocity of particle P, the component of velocity of particle P relative to these coordinate axes, and then omega cross position of R, position of particle relative to this origin. I will give you a very short example, a very small example, just to understand this concept. Just to understand this concept, I will give you a very small example, which is, suppose we have a rotating table. We have a rotating table and a coordinate system is attached to that table. So capital X and capital Y is a coordinate system which is attached to table, and the table rotates with some angular velocity omega. So this is my point A, which is attached to the table. I assume table to be at rest. I assume that table is mounted on the ground. The table is fixed to the ground. So this origin capital A will remain at rest, but the coordinate axes will rotate as they are attached to the table. They are attached to the table. And let's say we have a particle on this table. We have a particle on this table, but that particle is stationary relative to table. That particle is stationary relative to the table. So relative to table, this particle has no velocity. What about the velocity of particle for someone who is on the ground? Right. So relative to this point A, this person who is on the ground is now my fixed point O, is my fixed point O. So relative to this fixed point O, I want to find out what is the velocity of particle P. I want to know what is the velocity of particle P. Through this example, you will understand the meaning of symbols appearing here. The first term, which is velocity of A with respect to O. So A is this origin attached on the table, but table is fixed to the ground, and therefore relative to point O, point A has no velocity. So this VA oblique O in this example will be 0. VPA, which is the velocity of this particle relative to these two coordinate axes, and relative to these two coordinate axes the particle is stationary, therefore the second term will be 0. What about third term? So now you can write down that the velocity of particle P with respect to this person O will be, first two terms are 0 now, and the third term will be the angular velocity of this table omega vector cross. You have to write down position of particle relative to the origin of that coordinate system which is attached to the table, and A is that origin. Relative to this point A, relative to the origin A, the position of particle will be in this direction. So this vector which connects from A to P, this vector will be position of particle P relative to A, which is the radius vector, and therefore the velocity of particle P for this observer will be omega cross r. And we all know that the velocity of any particle in a circular path is v equals to omega into r. So keep this relation in your mind. Three things. One, the velocity of origin of coordinate system. Second one, the velocity of particle in that coordinate system. And third term, the velocity caused by rotation of these coordinate axes. So there are three terms which contribute in the velocity. What are those three terms? One, the movement of origin. Second, rotation of coordinate axes. Third, the change in position of particle relative to these rotating and moving coordinate axes. So there are three factors which contribute in the velocity of particle. I repeat, the three factors which contribute in the velocity of a particle are: one, any movement any movement of origin of coordinate system. Number two, any rotation of the coordinate axis. And number three, the change in position of particle in those coordinate systems. And this is the complete theory of velocity of particle in rotating frames. So I will repeat my words again here. Let's say I have x-axis and y-axis and they are rotating. This axis rotates, this axis rotates, and this point O or point A is moving in the space in some direction. Let's say this point A is moving in this direction. This has a velocity A. And O is a fixed point. And in this frame, in this coordinate system x and y, we have a particle or block which is moving in some direction with a velocity v block. So this is the velocity of block measured by these coordinate axes. So this is velocity of block relative to point A. So the origin of coordinate system is moving, coordinate axes are rotating, and a particle in this coordinate system is also moving relative to these axes, which means relative to these coordinate axes, the x and y coordinates of the particle are changing. If this is the x coordinate and this is the y coordinate, then these coordinates of particle are changing. So relative to point O, the velocity of block can be, first, the velocity of block due to change in coordinates in this frame, which we denote as VB oblique A. This is the velocity due to variation in these coordinates, plus velocity of A, and that is the velocity of this point A, plus omega vector cross position of this block from point A. So this is V of B block from point A. This is my three terms. I hope it is clear to you now. Now we are moving to acceleration part. So now we are moving to the acceleration of particle. Well, acceleration of a particle, if you want to find out the acceleration of particle, then you need to differentiate a velocity equation. So acceleration of the particle relative to point O, following this diagram, O is the fixed point, A is the origin of rotating and translating coordinate system, and P is my particle. So I will use the same convention now. So acceleration of particle relative to O will be, I have to differentiate this. I have to differentiate this equation now. So if I differentiate this equation, I will get acceleration of the particle relative to O on the left side, and on the right hand side you have three factors. So you will differentiate one by one. Let me put this equation in front of you so that you can connect or understand. So the first term on the right hand side will be d by dt of V A oblique O. Second term on the right hand side will be d by dt of V P oblique A, plus third term will be d by dt of this omega cross R P oblique A. Right? Now, A is the origin of coordinate system and O is the fixed point. So it is the absolute acceleration of origin A relative to point O. What is this d by dt of Vp oblique A? So now you will write down d by dt. Notice, you can express this velocity in the component form, and you can write that velocity x component, then you will multiply by Ex cap plus velocity y component, and then you will multiply it by Ey cap plus, here you will follow product rule, and according to product rule you will write down omega cross d upon dt of rp oblique a plus d omega over dt cross r of p oblique a. Right? Now what is the first term? Acceleration of a with respect to o plus, here again you will have a term of d by dt of vx ex cap plus d by dt of vy, this is capital X capital Y, then ey cap, plus you will have one more term here because this derivative will be performed by the product rule. So you will have vx and derivative of ex cap plus vy and then derivative of ey cap. So you will have two terms out of this factor, and then you have omega cross d by dt of rpa, but d by dt of rpa we have already calculated. D by dt of rpa we have calculated, and that is velocity of p with respect to a plus omega cross rpa. So now I will write down it as velocity of particle p relative to a plus omega cross position of particle p relative to a. And then my third equation, this is third factor, which is d omega by dt is alpha, which is angular acceleration cross position of particle p relative to a. So now you have acceleration of a relative to o plus, right, you have acceleration of a relative to o plus this factor. Notice these are the component of velocities in the capital X capital Y frame. So this factor is going to define acceleration of the same particle p in the frame capital A, because these are components relative to that frame, and plus this second factor. For that second factor you will again use this concept. That the derivative of ex cap is omega cross ex cap. Derivative of ex cap equals to omega cross ex cap. So you will have omega cross ex cap here, and you will have omega cross ey cap here. So you will take omega outside, and then you will be left with vx ex cap plus vy ey cap, which will be converted into omega cross velocity of particle p in the frame of A, plus these two terms are now written. Then we have this term. So this term, which is omega cross vpa, so you will have omega cross vpa from here, plus you will have omega cross r p oblique a, and plus you have this last term, that is alpha cross r p oblique a. Now I will associate all the factors together, so I get acceleration of a with respect to o plus acceleration of particle p with respect to a, plus these are same factors, so you will get twice omega cross velocity of particle with respect to a, and plus omega cross r p oblique a, plus alpha cross r p oblique a. So this big expression is going to define acceleration of particle in the frame of O. Now I will rearrange again. So now acceleration of the particle P in the frame A will be acceleration of particle P with respect to O minus acceleration of A with respect to O minus omega cross rp with respect to A minus alpha cross rp with respect to A and minus 2 omega cross v p with respect to A. I will now multiply this equation by the mass of particle. So I multiply it with mass of particle m a of p with respect to A is m a p with respect to O minus, or I can write down plus, minus m a of A with respect to O plus minus m omega cross r p with respect to A plus minus m alpha cross r p with respect to A plus m minus m into 2 into omega cross v p with respect to A. This factor we will get. Now, I know it's difficult to understand. It's really difficult. What is product of mass and acceleration? M is the mass of particle and acceleration is the A, P oblique A is the acceleration of particle. By Newton law, you can say it, well, it is the force on the particle relative to A in the frame of A. And this is again the force on the particle relative to O, plus we have some more factors. We have some more factors. Fp oblique A, which is the force on particle in a rotating frame, or you can say it force on particle in frame XAY. It is the force on particle in fixed frame, and that gives you the absolute frame. You can call it inertial frame. And then you have some more factors now. All the extra factors, all the factors, they look like force. They appear as force. Here you have mass and acceleration. But notice this is the mass of particle. M is the mass of particle. And this A is the acceleration of origin. They do not belong to the same particle. M is for the particle, A is for some point A. So though it looks like a force, M into A looks like a force, but it is not a real force. Because it is, in this expression, we have multiplication of M and A, but M belong to some other particle, A belong to some other point. So it cannot be a real force, because real force is defined as the product of mass of particle and the acceleration of same particle. So these are called as virtual forces, imaginary forces, and we will name it, we will give the name to these forces. The first term is called as pseudo force. The second term we define as centrifugal force. Third term, which is this minus m alpha cross A, is also a pseudo force. And this last term is defined as, you define the last term, this is a very important, JEE Advanced 2016, one question was based on this concept, and this is defined as Coriolis force. Right, I will explain these forces one by one now. Now notice, we have so many forces here. First of all, pseudo force is minus m and acceleration of AO. So you can give the reason of pseudo force. You can tell that the pseudo force is due to acceleration of origin of the coordinate system. Right, so here it is pseudo force. You can specify the reason. It is due to acceleration of origin A. Then you have one more term which is centrifugal. So centrifugal force is minus m omega cross r p by a, and it is due to rotation of axis. Then we have one more factor which is another pseudo force, and that is minus m alpha cross r p oblique a, and this additional pseudo force is due to angular acceleration. This is due to angular acceleration of axes if they are rotating with some acceleration. So this is, you can define it, rotational pseudo force. And then at last you have one more term which is minus 2m omega cross v p oblique a, which is due to rotation of axis. It is due to, let me focus on the page, it is due to rotation of axis and the motion of object relative to that frame, relative to rotating frame, and this you call it, this is the fourth and last term, and this we define as Coriolis force. Let us understand it by some example now. Let's say we have a hemispherical object which rotates about some axis omega, and that omega is constant. A particle P is inside this sphere at some angle theta. It has a radius r, and it is given that particle P is at rest relative to hemisphere. It is given. And we want to draw free body diagram of particle. You want to draw free body diagram of particle P in frame of hemisphere which is rotating. So let us consider a coordinate system attached to the center of this sphere. Let's say this is point A. Coordinate systems are attached here, capital X and capital Y. Now notice, these axes will rotate. These are rotating. These axes will rotate along with the hemisphere. So they have some angular velocity. But the origin of these coordinate systems, capital A, is not going anywhere. So Along with these four forces, which are pseudo forces, centrifugal forces, and Coriolis forces, remember you have one more force which is called real force. This term is known as the real force. So you have to first of all you consider the real forces. So real forces are mg, which is the real force, and the normal reaction force, that is real. So these two forces are real. Now we will check following forces one by one. Is there any pseudo force? Is there any acceleration of A with respect to O? O is the fixed point in the space. So no, this point A is not translating, it is fixed. So it is 0. So you will not have first term, second term, and third term. Since omega is constant, there is no alpha. So we will not have the third term also. Minus m alpha cross r p oblique a will also be 0 as omega is constant. And when it is given that p is at rest relative to the hemisphere, then the velocity of p relative to the a is 0 as given. This is 0. So these three are now 0. First one is 0, third one 0, fourth one 0. So only virtual force will be this centrifugal force. Only virtual force will be centrifugal force. And by the property of cross product, you can prove it. By the property of cross product, you can prove that this pseudo force will be perpendicular to the omega vector. Omega vector is along this axis. This is omega vector. So by cross product, you can prove that the centrifugal force will be perpendicular to omega vector, right? And it will be in this direction. So this centrifugal force will be in this direction. Let me prove it. Why centrifugal force will be in this direction? It would have been better if I choose the fixed origin at this point. Just to make it simple, you could have selected coordinate axis through this point. You could have selected. And if the coordinate axes are selected in such a way that the origin is just in front of the particle, then this is r vector, r of particle with respect to a, and this one is omega vector. So you will find out omega cross r first, omega cross r. And when you find omega cross r, you find out omega cross r by the screw method or right hand method. This omega cross r will be, the direction of omega cross r will be into the page, and then that omega cross r which is going into the page, again you have to take a cross with omega. So now omega is along this direction. This is the direction of omega, and this omega cross r, the second term which is omega cross r, is into the page. So now the cross product of these two, remember, where is omega? Let me show you. This is the direction of omega vector, and into the page you have omega cross r of p with respect to a. Now cross of these two products, will be in this direction. This is the direction of omega cross r p oblique a. But we have a negative sign here. Because of the negative sign here, right? So if this is direction, then minus sign, if the negative of omega cross RPA will be on the right hand side, and therefore this is the direction of centrifugal force, and you can write down this centrifugal force as m omega square, this distance, this small r. Students are often confused and they draw the centrifugal force in this way, and that is a completely incorrect method to draw the centrifugal force. Centrifugal force must always be perpendicular to the axis of rotating frame. So further questions based on this topic can be now solved. I will give one more hint for JEE Advanced 2016 question. JEE Advanced 2016. I will just give the hint for that question. In that question, there was a table which was rotating like this. There was groove in that particle, and a block was sliding. A block was moving like this. So now look, what are the forces? What forces we need to consider now? Suppose this A is the point and coordinate axes are attached to the table X and Y. So these axes are rotating. So we are dealing a problem where a particle is moving. This, remember, this particle is moving. This particle is moving, sliding. So now first term, since A is fixed, A is not moving. So the first term, acceleration of capital A relative to O, is 0. Also it was given in this question that omega is constant. So since omega is constant, the term alpha will be 0. Right? So no need to consider these first term and the third term in this specific question. What about this middle term, second term, and the fourth term? Second term is always away from the axis, which is called as centrifugal force. So in this example, this particle will experience a centrifugal force in this direction, which will be m omega square small r, where small r will be this distance. This is always away from the axis, and this particle will also experience a Coriolis force, as this time the particle is moving relative to point A. Notice that point A is stationary, but this particle is moving away from A, so it has a velocity relative to A in this direction. So this last factor, VPA in this question is towards the right side. This is the direction of VPA, and omega is along the axis. So the situation is like this. You have omega along this direction, and along that sliding direction you have velocity of particle with respect to A. These two are at 90-degree angle. So the cross of these two will be in this direction, which is omega cross V P oblique A in this direction. But we have a negative here, we have a negative sign here, and because of that reason this particle will also experience a force in this direction, and that force will be 2m omega, and this velocity with which the particle is sliding, 2m omega v. So this particle will experience two forces, one along this direction and one along this direction. This is just the hint for that question. If you read the paragraph, I believe you can solve the question now, and you can now solve any question which involves the concept of centrifugal force, pseudo force, Coriolis force, and all other forces. Right? A lot of mathematics was used in this derivation, so I recommend you to write each and every step on paper. Try to understand each and every concept. Then only you can learn how to use these virtual forces while dealing a problem associated with rotating frame. If you find any difficulty in this video, or if you are unable to understand the concept, you can drop a message to me. I will explain these concepts in the live class also. Till then, take care, stay at home. Thank you.